Hello again. I'm back to do the final video of how to connect the whole cake topper together. So ready for the laser cutter. We're almost done. We've placed our words as tight as we can. We've balanced it on a spike, a cake spike. I may just reduce that cake spike a little bit, and I've also kept the original text on the side here just in case. I usually call this a working file, so I'll have two files to each client when I do a cake topper, one to go back and use the same type. Sometimes people just want to change the actual name underneath, so I'll always keep a working file halfway through so I can do that, and then when I'm finishing it off it'll be final, so baby good child final. So I just name them so I know, in reference, I know what's happening. I've got the cake underneath, as you already know, in centimetres, as well as obviously 8-inch, because that's what the cake is, the size of the cake is. So I kind of like seeing how big it's going to sit on top of the cake. So, and that's why I reference it when I send it to the client for approval. That is really important too, so they can see it as well. So some of the cakes on the top aren't as deep as this. It is nice to have stability on a cake topper, but I'll just shorten that a little bit. So I'm just going to go up, move it across. I'll just I'll go into my white arrow, my selection, and then just use my keyboard arrows, which I absolutely love, and just reduce the size that way. Okay, using my quick keys, I'm just going to reduce that again. Alright, so now if I select all that, as you can see I've got two layers. The red and the blue means that it is on two layers. So now that I'm going to connect them all, now that I'm going to connect them all, I may put them all on one. Just before I do, what I'd like to do is have a look at thickening up. Okay, it looks a little bit thin. I'm a little bit worried about it. These here could easily snap under a little bit of stress. I always tell my clients, make sure you always hold it from the spike, the cake spike, rather than grabbing the top of it. So all these. So what I'm going to do to strengthen it up a bit is I'm going to add a stroke. So go into my strokes. If you haven't got your stroke open, go into Windows, you'll find it there. I'm going to put maybe a 1 first of all, or a 2. Yes, now you can see it's starting to thicken up. I'll just go back down a bit just so I can see it from a distance. I would even like, actually I don't want too much on here, so I might deselect that. Hold down my shift. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just deselect it all, go highlight those. I find the white plus is good for that because you can just select them and all the anchor points are selected straight away. So now we can add our stroke comfortably. Might even thicken it up. Now you can see it's got some solid body to it. And I'll even put maybe a little bit more on the red alone. See how, bit too much. Try 1. Because of these whimsy little curls, not quite sure. What about a 1.5? That's what I love about Illustrator. You can do the little ones. Right, I'm actually happy with that. It's going to cut nicely, but what we need to do, and I love the way these are all sitting on top of each other, so you've got a bit of balance happening there. So once you cut it out in the laser, it's going to sit properly as well. Alright, I'm going to show you how to connect this. Now, if we cut it out as it is, just say stroked it all and left it to the laser cutter, the laser cutter would cut each of these letters individually. We can't have that. We've got to merge them all together. And we also have to, if you can see, the stroke is there. Okay, and now if I just merged it all, the stroke would and stroked it, this thickness would disappear. So what I need to do is a little handy trick in Illustrator. I absolutely love it. Is we need to expand it. So I'm going to highlight everything, go up to Object and go to Expand. Now you'll get this little prompt box, and you tick your fill and your stroke, so that means your fill and stroke is going to expand together. And they're just, now as you can see what it's done, it's not really expanding it. All it's doing is saying, oh okay, I'm going to give you a few more strokes around, but that's okay, don't worry, it's perfectly fine. Go to your Pathfinder and then unite. So once you unite, you'll get the one line. That's what we need, because the laser cutter needs to follow that one line on the outside of the thickness of all the fonts. So we're getting there. That's fabulous. I love Expand. Alright, so now we've got it nice and chunky, and it's united. We need to unite this. I didn't select this because I didn't want this too chunky, and I didn't want it. I'll just unite that. Now those two are united, and I need to put everything onto the one. Yep, that's good. I need to unite the whole lot now. So select all and then unite the whole lot. So now once I prepare it for the laser, which is getting rid of our fill altogether and just leaving a stroke, which I'll empty the fill altogether. Let's go to our color here. Okay, now we need to change this, which in your lesson, as you know, I always like to go, let's go RGB, just put on the red and the red only, as long as you know what color. I just want, it should be one ink. Okay, one color ink. And then we're going to go to stroke, and as you know, in a laser cutter, 0.003 width is the width that the laser cutter requires to connect it, to cut it out. So now we've got it all ready for the laser cutter. I'm going to delete obviously this, we don't need that. Okay, and I'm going to delete this because that'll only confuse the laser cutter. So I always like to Command A, select all, just to make sure there's nothing on my desktop here that's going to confuse a laser cutter, and double check it's the red I want, and I even save that red into my libraries so I can actually select it. I've got some colors in there, but I select it and save me doing it all the time, and I've got my weight all perfect. That is ready to go to the laser. So now I need to just save it as Command A, and I'll just put, instead of working file, I will put final. Okay, so that's saved into the right project folder, and hopefully this is the final of the 4 videos teaching you the extra lessons, or repeating the lesson that I've taught you in class, and hopefully it's valuable for you. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye.